Hi to anyone listening. This is Henry's Freakin podcast, and today I am here with the one and only, a very old friend of mine, and a kind of just generally garbage person. This is Romi, everybody. Romi, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Romi. I'm Henry's longtime childhood friend, and I had the pleasure of being on his podcast today.
Yep, that sounds about right. So we met a long time ago in third grade, second,
I came to BT in first grade,
right?
but then, in lower school, it's always odd, and we call it lower school. It's just elementary school, and each class is that's your grade, and each class didn't interact with each other. So if you weren't in each other's class, you didn't see each other that year. So
Basically, yeah. I mean, our
yeah,
first year, I didn't really
um,
see. So yeah, that kind of didn't happen. I don't think we really talked until
middle
I
school.
think, yeah, it
No, we
was pretty
definitely
much
talked in
middle
lower
school.
school, but when we became friends, it was middle school, I'd say.
I think that's fair because, okay, so basically, just to give y'all the backstory for everyone listening, he came in first grade. Second grade, we were in separate classes, but in third grade, I switched class tracks altogether and moved into his class, Harper's class,
Oh,
and a bunch of
right.
other
Yeah.
people. So then I kind of, switched over.
Thank
Um,
God.
yeah, oh my God. Whew,
I don't
that
know
would
what
have,
life would have
whew.
been without that.
That would have been bad. Um, you say that as if you and Harper didn't just bully me.
It was more
You
of
say
it was more of encouragement to be better.
you guys were just trying to get me to my full potential. I understand. Uh, so we didn't really become close until middle school.
Right.
And that was pretty much the main time. And our first, I would say, initial bonding moment was because we used to eat, so we basically, you kind of become friends with who you eat lunch with. At least that's how
Right.
it was in our school. And so it was me, Rummy, Jamie, and maybe people that rotated, but we would sit in this one classroom
Also, Leah was there mostly.
mostly. And we would sit in this one classroom that we also used as the prayer room. This was probably fifth grade,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe
Sixth grade.
sixth.
Sixth
Yeah.
grade probably. Yeah.
And so we would sit in that room to eat lunch. And that's kind of when I started watching Teen Wolf. And now that's y'all at home aren't really, you don't know the significance, but that's the big plot point, basically, because I started watching Teen Wolf influenced by Rummy, who, of course, was an asshole and spoiled the whole thing for me throughout my time watching it. But yeah, so I started watching that, and then my friend and well, our friend, I don't know if I say mine, our friend Isabella started. Well, she actually started before me, I think.
I was basically Henry. I was the influential character that started Team Wolf, which
Not
is what
I started it. Oh my God. But
Oh
true. But
yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
But you're I mean, it's true.
I mean, we used to. You're missing the part where we used to eat lunch in the room, and then we used to watch TV there. That was the whole thing. We used to just watch TV while we would eat.
Literally. We did.
It was the best. We used to we went to the prayer room, and we just sat in the back, and no one even thought to go in there, and we just ate our lunch in peace and
I don't think we were
quiet.
allowed to eat in there.
No, we absolutely were not. We for sure were not allowed to do that.
We did it anyway.
Yeah, and then I think at one point we couldn't go there anymore, so we went to this. We ate on some stairs and
Yes,
some
that
back
is
some back
when
hallway.
yeah, that is when the change came and we pivoted to the underneath the stairs. Um and that's when the group really expanded because then everybody was sitting underneath the stairs, but
Henry, we got to talk about the story when you got sent to the office.
oh my God. I
Want
wasn't
to give
expecting
context?
that. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting you to bring up my trauma. But it's okay. We can go into it. So basically what happened was I'll just tell it from my perspective, the
Sure, go ahead.
correct perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Basically what had happened was Rami was already annoying me as he does which could have been his fault, could have been mine, to be fair, because I could have just been annoyed with him for no reason.
Mhm.
So basically, I had started to get annoyed with him, and then we started gym class, right? So we were in gym class.
Oh, I remember the story now.
Yeah, just vibing in gym class. And of course, we were in like our soccer unit, right? Because like you go through units when you're in like not,
Middle school.
high school gym. Which became such a joke in high school, but that's for another time. um, so basically, and I'm going to tell that story after this one. We were in and we were playing soccer, and I never wanted to participate because I never want to participate
Because he's lazy.
because it's gym. And I was like, yeah, I don't think gym's for me. And all of y'all listening know, if you're that person who was like, gym is just not for you. Because gym was just not for me. Unless we were in like a certain unit, and that unit was dodgeball, because bitch, I was terrible at dodgeball, but I was going in. Like I was running around.
Henry is like 2D in dodgeball. He just like turns to the side and nothing can hit him.
Oh, that's true. Because like if I'm standing forward, well, yeah, of course you can see me. But when I
Right.
turn to the side,
Henry's an
invisible.
optical illusion.
I'm an optical illusion. So basically, I was playing goalie because no one wants to play the goalie. No one.
No, Henry played goalie because he didn't want to run.
Exactly.
That's
all the regular fun straight boy kids are like, let's run and like hit each other. And I was like, let me just be the goalie because I just want to stand.
Yeah, let me stay in the place that's getting the ball kicked at.
Which eerie foreshadowing for what was to come.
Go ahead.
Anyway. Anyway. So I was being a shitty goalie on purpose because I was bad and I wasn't.
Right.
Not that I could have blocked any goals, but I wasn't trying at all. In fact, I was going like the opposite direction of where the ball was going towards.
I'm gonna tell my side of how you did it, and then we're gonna compare this story. Go ahead.
I was practically shooting the goals in the goal I was supposed to be guarding is what was happening. So then after that, we go and we change whatever. And this whole time while that's happening, Romi is like pissed at me at this point because he's like, why aren't you trying? You gotta block the goal. We want to win. And I was like, I don't give a shit. I give zero fucks about this game. So then we get back to the lockers, right? And he's still mad at me. And at that point, I'm kind of over it, but like, whatever. And so we get back, right? And he's still bugging me about it. So I'm just like, fuck off. And he then decides on his own free will to go start to piss me off, because he knew it would piss me off, to go start spreading fake, stupid rumors about me, which I was like, okay, whatever, this is stupid. But of course I was also mad.
This is like little kid rumors, like not like anything.
Like exactly, like literally just stupid. But I was like pissed about it. And that's when he decided to fight me. Which is exactly how the story went. So yeah, and then we had a fight, pushing into lockers, etc. Middle school fights. And then one of our mutual friends, I guess I guess Romi and I were mutually friends with Nathaniel at the time.
Oh, right, Nathaniel. Yeah, I remember.
But like not anymore. But that's I guess for
so he tried to break it up, right? And then
the
teacher walked in at that second, and they sent both you guys to the office, and I didn't.
Right. So the teacher saw him trying to break up the fight and thought that it was this guy and me, which was not the truth, obviously. But we still got sent to the office. At which point we went to the office. And then I was terrified because
I lucked out.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking exactly. So I was like terrified because like a little goody two shoes me who's never gotten in trouble and all the teachers love me. I was like, oh my God, I'm over. I'm ruined.
Yeah.
I'll never be the same again. I have to
turn what happened? Like, what do you do when you go there? They just like make you fill out.
Oh, oh my God, guys, is everyone listening hearing what I'm hearing? He's basically saying, oh, what is it like? Like I've never done that. So like, what is it like? That's crazy that you like. What's it like in the office?
Like, do you just sit there?
They sent us to the office, and we have this person who works at the office at our school who's been there the whole time, still there, and her name is Miss Melliker, and she loved me, right? Miss Melliker loved me. But when I got there, she was like, sit down. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. So we sat down, right? And they gave us a piece of paper. They hand you a piece of paper that says like, so you've been sent to the office. What happened?
Wait. Okay, before we go any farther, we need to backtrack to the gym, and let me tell the story of what actually
Oh
happened.
God. Oh, what
So
actually
we're playing gym. Okay, our coach makes teams, whatever, and no one wants to be goalie. And Henry's like, oh, I'll be goalie, and like me knowing Henry, I'm like, he just wants to do it because he whatever. I'm like, it's okay, we need a goalie anyway, right? So Henry's sitting there in goal, and at first he's like just trying a little bit, like it's not working.
When
And
he
I
says
see
sitting there, he means I was sitting down. I was crisscross applesauce in the goal, bitch.
no,
Like,
okay. You think he's joking, but towards the end, Henry was helping them get the goals to spite me. Henry was like kicking them in, and like there was like stuff riding. Like I had like bets with my friends about gym class. And, like there was like way more riding on this. Like if you lost, like you were just shit, you know. So Henry's here helping the other team, not doing anything. He is literally moving out and like showing them where the goal is. And I'm furious. And Henry like is thriving on it. He's
I'm
thriving on
thriving.
it.
I was thriving.
And he's like getting under my skin. He sits down and crosses his legs in the goal. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fight this kid.
I'm just imagining the coach that was like our gym teacher or whatever. He was probably dying. He was probably hysterical.
He's probably
Like,
used
what
to
the
it.
fuck is this kid?
Oh my
Let's
god!
be
Imagine
real.
being a middle school gym teacher. The things you probably see.
Let's be real.
Remember,
He doesn't give a shit. He didn't care.
I remember one time we were in gym and we were playing like handball or dodgeball or something. Anyway, so one of the kids who's in our, I'm not gonna say who, but they like were notorious for joking around. I'm sure you can figure out who. And
Yeah.
they literally went, "Hey coach," and pulled his pants down in 6th grade and just mooned him. Yeah. And he didn't do a thing about it. I think he just didn't know how to react.
Also, this is just a side comment for all you guys listening because I think you'll find this funny, even though it's not funny and I'm not getting canceled for it, so don't try to cancel me for it. Our coach had no legs. Move on. Continue the story.
Right. And
Right.
so yeah, that was gym. Gym was intense.
I would say that's
Henry's
fair.
Wasn't Henry's forte, but I think that Henry, like, I think the point that Henry and I like really connected on was like TV. Like that was our thing. That's how we like that was like a lot of our conversations. And you could tell a lot. Like the first thing I ask about like when I meet a person is like, what TV shows do you watch? Always, because you can always tell like what kind of person, what they're into, all those kinds of things, like about what kind of.
And
TV
it
shows
really
they watch.
cuts to like more of the actual essence of who they are because like let's be real. Based on appearances, based on like sports, etc., you would probably think somebody is very different than who they are. Even now, maybe back then when I looked the way I looked in middle school, which I don't want to talk about, you could probably guess who I am. But now you probably would never guess that I'm watching like the Marvel TV shows, like, and
Right.
that it's literally me sitting on my couch like watching Teen Wolf and like the old Teen Titans. Like no one would think that. So
Right.
when you
Right.
ask about it, it's like, oh yeah, that
Yeah. I feel like a
makes
lot of people don't
sense.
really get to see like the Pokemon, like cool, like I love that. Like I love that. It's great. I'm a nerd like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, basically he got my ass sent to the office. And they give you this paper that says, like, so you've been sent to the office, like, what did you do? And Nathaniel looks over at me. Keep in mind, actually, never mind, I'm not gonna say that. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that. He looks over at me and he's like, so we need to, because he had done this shit before, bitch. He had done this shit before.
Yeah.
He
He
was
was a pro.
mama, born in the game. He knew. So he looks over at me and he goes, okay, so we have to coordinate the stories. Like, what are we gonna say? What are we gonna make as the narrative? I was like, oh, okay, work. I like this. Like, okay, sure. So I don't know if we even blamed you. I think we just were like, oh, you just like it was a misunderstanding. It was just
Oh
like
no
a
no
friendly
no.
fight
Oh, you mean on the paper you didn't blame me?
on
Oh
the
yeah. Oh,
paper.
okay. Good.
No, in my mind, I was like, fuck that bitch.
Yeah. You
That
remember the
little
conversation we had
shit.
afterwards?
Yes, I do remember the conversation.
All right,
we
keep
had
going.
afterwards.
Keep
Anyway, then we like literally left to the office. We didn't have to like stay there or anything. We just wrote the note and then left. And then there were no more, like, that was it. The school did not do anything else. Like, that was literally it. They just wrote it down and then we continued. And of course, I was like what? And I went home and I was like, had to tell my mom, and I was like, she's gonna kill me. I'm a bad boy now. You know. But like, obviously, she was like, I don't give a shit.
And that was Henry's introduction to the dark side.
That was where I started. It went from that to voodoo dolls, so we moved quickly. Sounds about right. And Romi still has never been sent to the office to this day. I don't know if that's true, actually.
It is true. That is true. Never.
I think, you know what? Looking back, that was probably the moment that the school decided that I would never win any awards for the rest of, like, if you actually look back at it, let's be real.
That's the reason why.
That's
You're right.
probably the moment. In that moment,
Right.
they said, okay, so no.
Right.
So no more. Because for all you guys listening, I know you think I'm like talented, beautiful, and like the best. I never won any awards in middle school, in high school, but they didn't give me shit. I mean, I was always obviously, it did. And obviously I was always the unsung hero and like the people's favorite, but like I never won a single award. Not one. Derek Eric's award, which none of you guys even know. If you're listening, none of you guys even know what that means, but that was like the shit. That was like, if you win that award, you are the one.
Yep, pretty much.
And I'm currently speaking with a 4-time winner of that award. Not 6. No.
6. I got it every. Oh no, 5 because I got it every year in middle school and then
the first year of high school.
Yeah, the first year. I mean, you can't get it after that anymore. But you get honored every year.
Well, you might have got it at the first year of high school, but that was just because the school didn't yet know who the Krieger-Schechter kids were, because then they got all the awards.
Right.
So it's
I remember when all the Schechter kids came in. It was like that was like the two school, because we were always rivals in sports and stuff like that. And then so here's how it works with our school. There's 2 like Jewish day schools as middle school, and then later on Krieger-Schechter kids come and in high school because they don't have a high school, and so it's kind of this, we all join up for high school, and so it's like one big smorgasbord of different like friend groups and like a bunch of other stuff.
Right. And obviously they don't have to come to BT, which is our school, but because a lot of them don't, but a lot of them want to continue, or their parents obviously want them to continue that Jewish education, and BT would be the best place for that to continue.
Yeah.
So they send them to BT, and a lot of them are already known because, like, let's be real, there's only 2 Jewish day schools, so we obviously kind of already know the people. That combined with the fact that a lot of the camps like things,
yeah, exactly, like all Jewish like capital camps and all that, like all the Jewish sleepover camps everybody goes to, so a lot of people know each other. But the thing is, like, I remember like where was it, maybe it was Ethan McDanich's house, we like went to like a preschool like party, not a preschool, like a before school party.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah. Oh, that was your house. Right. Yeah, that was like that.
So basically, for everybody listening, when that Krieger-Schechter thing happened, I had a very unique position because my stepbrother, Jordan, actually came to the school and he went to Krieger-Schechter. So he already knew all of the Krieger-Schechter kids. And obviously I knew all the BT kids because I'd been at BT since I was basically born.
That makes a lot of sense why you did that. I get that.
So we thought it made sense. Now, I'm not going to give him credit for setting it up because the party was my idea, but it made sense to kind of have both parties there, like, you know, the vibe.
I just remember going there and like everyone was like obsessed with all the Schechter kids. I was freaking out. I was just like,
oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, they really were.
Yeah.
No, you can name names. Go ahead.
Nah, I'm not trying to call anybody out. I think you have more of a position. You're in more of a position to do that.
Yeah, I will. Let's start with. No, I'm kidding.
I'm not trying to end up in a casket. Come on now.
Oh my god. Well, so basically, God, I'm just gonna go into it because why not? Who gives a shit? Basically, here's how I'm gonna describe it. You know, in middle school. Also, side note, Remy, you need to. Do you have Hulu? I don't care. Actually, no. You can find. Hulu. You need to watch this show, Pen 15.
Pen 15? What's it about?
It's about these 2 girls in like 6th or 7th grade and just their lives. It is the funniest thing I've ever fucking watched in my entire life. Literally, because it's not even like laugh out loud funny all the time, but it's just so accurate to like what we did as kids and it's supposed to take place during the 2000s, but it's still so relevant. I don't know. It makes me cringe, but it's so good. Anyway, so basically what happened was when all these Krieger-Schechter kids, that's the other school, they came to our school, BT, and we had this party, right? there were 3 specific guys who came to the school and were very obviously like the 3. Because there weren't that many like big, I would say there probably weren't that many big female presences coming from Krieger Schechter, unless I'm forgetting somebody. Right, there really weren't. But there were these 3 guys who were basically like, I still see them today as like a 3. Like one,
Really?
yeah, I
Oh,
still do.
okay. I
Yeah,
see that.
I
That's
still see them
right.
as a 3. And so
Right.
basically, those 3, everybody liked one of them. And obviously it kind of rotated because this was like, beginning of, this was the first year of high school, so it like
You have to
rotated or
give like you have to
whatever.
understand. You have to understand. We've been with these people for like since first grade, right? So any influx of any new person is like, whoa, everybody's freaking
Whoa,
out.
yeah.
Everybody is going for the same person. And like every time we would get like a new girl, like every time it would be like a whole thing. Um, but like I'm sure it was
Yeah,
the same for
and
guys.
yeah, and Abby Levin, if you're listening, that was just a specific reference to you. So just hear that and know that you fucking bitch, we're talking about you. You fucking stunning ass bitch. Anyway, so these 3 guys come, right? And everybody likes one of them, and it kind of switched off. I'll say that I may or may not have been guilty of it, but like that's like not important. Um so that basically set up the whole year.
And the
And
rest of our friendship.
yeah, and my best friend dated one of them, but we won't get
Oh
into
yeah.
it.
I mean, I feel like that's the best. No, I'm not gonna. Remember.
Oh god. Yeah. So anyway, it was a fun time, and that high school was high school.
I feel like, I mean, middle school was very different, like more of like, I feel like it was much more of a friendlier, like more like very childish kind of vibe in a good way. Like, and then high school, we got there and like everything became so distinctive. I feel like things weren't so distinctive in groups. I don't know. Maybe they were. Maybe I didn't notice it because I was
I
always in
agree.
between. I was always very much in between. And like Henry's whole friend group like hated me because they all thought I abandoned them and like went to like some other friend group or something like that. Like we can get into that in a second. But I just think that because it
I
was
would say
harder.
that 8th grade really was like a peak in a way for like a lot.
Yeah,
And
but I
then
think
when
that
9th grade started, it was different, but in a good way. And then it from there kind of slowly became a very different situation.
yeah,
Um,
but
just
I
for
think
everyone. I'm not talking about like our relationship, just saying in general for like everybody. That's kind of I felt like how it was.
mhm.
Um, but yeah,
I mean, I think that our friend group changed a lot though. Like a lot of the people who were in middle school like left and all like that too. But like I think it became mostly a lot like mostly girls and like I like hanging out with girls, but like I also like needed a friend group of like where I could like play sports and do all that kind of stuff. And like I love coming to talk to you guys and you guys were always there for me and like an amazing support system. But like I also like I feel like I was like lacking in like that department, which is fair and like it's like I get it and that's probably why like that happened. But it wasn't like an intentional like I always loved you guys. You guys always like all of you guys.
of course. So we always knew that. I think that it was just that well, because my bestie, Isabella, who I probably mentioned on this podcast before, bitch, if you're listening, you know I love you. Um, and
Also
everyone
one of my
out
really
there,
close friends.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is that even though Anna and I maybe were a little more separate, Isabella was kind of the constant. She was
Connector.
very like, yeah, that's a yeah, that would be a good
Yeah.
way to put it. But I think
Yeah.
it's also like just felt like, and this isn't even you, this is just kind of like boys in general, especially in high school, kind of like suck. So when you were like hanging out with them more, we were
Right.
like, ugh, why is this like, ugh, like we don't like that. So you're
Right.
being a part of that.
No,
So
I
it was
get
like,
it.
yeah.
No, I'm sure. No,
But
I
now
actually really
it's,
get it.
but now it seems like so funny and like irrelevant.
It's because
And
it
I
is.
can, it is. And it was so funny because like, especially in middle school, just like, oh my
Everything was
God,
such a big deal.
everything was such a big deal. It was so stupid. I just can remember vividly me being like, well, listen, I know I'm going to be strategically thinking, me, of course. I was like, listen, well, I know I'm gonna be put on the boys' bus. I'm gonna need to sit with somebody. And that somebody's gonna be Romi, because it's not gonna be anyone else, if
I
we're being
always got your
realistic.
back.
Exactly. I was like, that's what's gonna happen. And I'm gonna sit next to the window because I want to see all the pretty trees. Like it was just, I already knew like
Hell
what was
yeah.
going down.
Hell yeah.
It was very that. And then of course, high school came along, and we didn't have any trips anymore. And I'm kidding, we kind of did, but like not really.
Oh, you were grade rep in ninth grade too. You forgot to mention that.
Have I not mentioned that on the podcast before? I might not have actually. I was our grades. And I will say, I will keep reminding y'all who started this shit, because I was our grade's first grade representative, along with my friend Olivia. We did it together. And
Wait,
we
can
were
I
the
can I
first
tell them
grade
how what
representatives.
can I tell them like how it went down? I want to tell the story.
How it went. Did you run?
No, yes, I did run that year. Yeah, I read that. Yeah, you beat me.
And just to add this on too, just for everyone else listening, you know who else ran that year? Noah and Allison, and we beat them.
That's the like they were the underdogs, like
the one and only time. Yeah, we were somehow not
okay.
the
Let me tell it. Let me tell the story. Let me tell Henry.
Okay.
Henry and Olivia basically conned their way into doing this, right? So these guys, they're like, we're gonna run, and we're like, everyone thinks like, no, Allison's gonna win. Like I ran with Samantha, this girl in our grade, and like there was like a bunch of other stuff, and Henry had a good shot, but like no one thought he was like overwhelmingly gonna win. But it turned out like I asked him, like he like they won by a lot because they showed up to the like the speeches where they're trying to like get the people to vote to them. They're getting there. They're like, we're gonna have a sushi bar, a salad bar. Like they're like talking about like remaking the school. You get like your own private cars here. Blah 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 blah. And I was like, whoa,
Not
like,
your own private car.
I was kidding, but like we were little freshmen who had no idea that Henry had no obligation to follow through on anything that he said.
Well, of course.
And that he was just trying to, and so literally we were like, dude, that's sick. And everyone else was like, oh, we'll try and get like us to be able to like use some classrooms during lunchtime, or like we'll try to get like snacks.
Well, but of course.
And Henry's like, we're gonna get a sushi bar. Like,
no,
like,
because no. Okay, well, listen. Strategically, it made the most. Like when Olivia and I had our little talk, because we were so invested. We literally like spent multiple days at each other's houses just thinking about like what we were gonna do, writing the speech, etc. And right. Let me tell you, we were thinking strategically. Like, listen, we figured that some of y'all would go for the listen. We're not going to promise you the world type of speech. And we were like, that's not going to work. So let's not do that. And let's go with we're going to do everything, so that when people think about it, they go, well, they probably won't do everything, but they have a lot, so they'll probably do something. Obviously, that didn't happen, but like it was a good idea, like thought-wise. Obviously, we basically accomplished nothing. But then again, obviously, like it's all a joke anyway, because you can't accomplish
I ended up being grade, like, as you know, like I ended up being grade rep.
Oh yeah, Romi got his retribution, becoming grade rep
did.
for the least important amount of time.
With my twin brother, by the way. I went with my brother.
Yes, that is true.
It was legendary.
But let's be real. Let's not play. Let's not pretend that if Noah and Allison hadn't resigned to become better, to become the heads in student government, that would have still happened. Because let's be real, no one was not voting for them again. In fact, they did. People voted for Noah and Allison, what, 3 times? 4?
Yeah, 2.
Something.
2.
I don't know.
2 times. I think 2 or 3 times.
There were 2 elections in 9th grade, and then every other year I think it was just 1. Yeah.
We like killed anybody. Like we like, do you remember when Jamie and I went up for our speech?
Yeah, I
like, dude, we were okay. So for context, to what happens with
who else even fucking ran?
It was. I'll tell you in a second. Abby and Avi, remember that was a good one. Abby and Avi. Remember that? Anyway,
Sure.
so
Yeah.
our entire grade has sat through president's speech, vice president's speech, like a bunch of other executive board members, six speeches, they're so tired and bored, right? And Jamie and I, my twin, we were the last speech, so they're going through all the other candidates' speeches, and everyone is sitting there like a mindless zombie. So Jamie and I are like, we need to like wake everybody up. So all of a sudden we just go in and we start yelling, like we're just jumping, we're like get everybody up, like get hype, and everybody's just like used to like a regular speech. We're like, hi, this is what I'm gonna do. Jamie and I like had a whole skit we did. We like made jokes off each other. And, like, it was just like a
Excuse
fun
me?
experience.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're trying to say that they weren't used to fun speeches when Ronan.
Oh my god, when he came flying in, that was crazy.
Oh my god.
So our friend Ronan basically was running for one of the executive board member spots, and he comes in on his like being like held by like a zip line kind of thing, and he just like zip lines in, and we're just like so like that was like no one had ever done anything like that, and everyone was just caught so off guard. It was great. He ended up winning too.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, he didn't actually. Anyway, so go ahead.
Anyway, what else were we talking about? All right, great.
You were yelling. Yeah.
Oh, right. So we go in, we're like giving a whole skit. Everybody's like happy. Like I can see that like we won. Like I can tell. Because like
it was pretty obvious.
I looked at the other grade reps, like candidates' faces, and they were just like frowning, dead ass. They were frowning because they just knew that they lost. Like they were.
But the funny part was that that one I feel like was pretty obvious. But the first one, when we won, we were all sitting around that fucking table, and I felt like we had no idea.
No, we definitely did not know.
Because it was also Alyssa, I think. Was Alyssa there?
It was me and Samantha. It was you
Noah
and Olivia, Noah and Allison. It was Talia and Iran.
Oh, fuck. Talia, okay, y'all don't understand. If you're listening to the podcast right now, y'all don't even understand the significance of Talia and Iran. Oh my god. Woo! But anyway, so they ended up winning.
Yeah, we ended up winning, but that day was the day that we left. That was the last day of school because COVID was right after that. It was Friday. It was a Friday, and that was it. No, we were done. So so the first day of me getting to be grade rep was online, right? So it was just the whole experience was just like so different because we were virtual for half of it. So
you know what? I previously said that just like a couple minutes ago or whatever, I previously said that you became the grade reps for the least relevant period of time possible. But I'm going to take that back because realistically, the amount of shit that y'all probably had to deal with, especially over the WhatsApp, not to give you traumatic,
idea,
not to give you traumatic memories, but especially over the WhatsApp with our entire grade in it.
So we had this grade group chat, right? And it's supposed to be a school sanctioned like grade group chat that like I'm supposed to like send in all information that's regarding school. So we only had one chat at this point, right? So a bunch of people, and like either people could talk in it or whatever. So someone made it so everybody could talk in it, right? So kids are like going at it, they're like insulting each other, like, but like it's getting intense. Like people are like coming for their throats. Like
there were some people who were being just like weirdly sexual for no reason. Like I don't know if
like,
do that.
There's
but
like people
so
with like people were like sending like naked pictures of themselves. Like the guys were like sending butt pics or whatever. Like it was just, I don't know, it was full pandemonium. And this is the only way I was able to send my information about school and like what was happening. So I paused it because everyone was like literally, because everyone was just yelling at each other and like it was awful. Like I remember everyone was just cursing each other out. Like this is like right when school started. I don't know if you remember this, but then I closed the chat. I closed it. I made it so I shut it down. I was just like, everyone, like, what is going on? Why, like, what you know? And because I asked, like, Coach Krieger told me to do that. He was like, he's the one who's in charge of us. He told us to do that. So anyway, people started texting me. They were like attacking me, like sending me threats, like, I hate you, fuck you, you're the worst, blah blah blah, like literally attacking me.
Oh my god.
I'm like, I literally like.
Oh my god.
It just wasn't worth it to me. So what I did was I just.
They probably weren't. Let's be real. They weren't attacking Jamie. It was just you.
No, it was. It was never Jamie. I always got yelled at.
Oh my god. Well, you're the more hateable one for sure.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Come on. Yes, you are.
Yeah, I am the more hateable one.
Well,
I love
which is
Jamie.
probably a good thing. If you think
Is
about
it?
it, like
Why is
realistically, it's
that?
probably a good thing. Like, wouldn't you be? Well, actually, I don't know.
I don't know about hateable being a good thing, but I feel like you know if you're too if everyone likes you, then you're not unique and you're not your own person.
Well, I think that that's first of all, that's true. That's what I was gonna say. But also, I feel like people would be more mad at you because they put more expectations on you because they think that you would be responsible for more. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
why
just
you're
higher
the more
expectation.
hateable.
Yeah.
Exactly. No one's thinking cute little Jamie in the corner is gonna do like some revolutionary thing, you know?
No, I mean,
So they're just happy if Jamie shows up.
this is how
I
that's how it looked.
was.
Maybe that's yeah, that's how like probably like looked a lot of the time, but like this is how it went. I was more of like practical logistics, blah blah blah. Jamie's like, we should go paintballing. We should go like crazy to do crazy stuff, right? And the stuff that we did that was super fun, like we went paintballing. We did all that. Like Jamie was like the brains
All
behind
right,
all
I'm
like
gonna
the
slow
fun
you
stuff.
down right there because super fun and paintballing for me don't go together. And they
Henry,
should have
I
gone
saw you.
together.
You were it was like Henry was like a military man over there.
Lies and deception. Because I started off so strong. I was like, Mama, I'm channeling my Halo. I'm channeling everything. Bitch, I am Widowmaker. I will fucking slay
Love
these
it.
hoes. I will slay these hoes. Like I didn't come to play. I came to slay. But then it
Henry has
started.
this. Henry got hit with the first paintball,
I was gonna
and
say
then
I got hit one time and I was like, okay, so no.
not. You know who is a badass? Who was just rolling and like sniping and stuff? Anna, dude, she was crazy. She was like, I don't know how to like. She was. I was very surprised. She
And it
was like,
was funny because and it was very comforting to me, I feel like, because as a military and like fighter like Aries sign as Isabella is, we were both like sitting on the side
yeah,
like
Anna
great.
was protecting them.
I basically spent the whole time crouching down behind Ethan just hoping that he would get hit instead.
Ethan didn't do. Ethan was pretty good. I
Yeah, he
thought he did well.
was. Oh god. I was like so over it by the end. I was like, I'm never doing this shit again. But anyway. So yeah, y'all had to deal with a lot as grade reps.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just it's so hard to make people like everybody happy and like
Oh,
people love saying that
impossible.
they're
Yeah.
not.
Oh,
Like no one was shy that they're like not afraid to say that they're unhappy. Like everyone would love to tell them.
oh, because at this point, at first everyone was like, no one was saying anything to me and Olivia. We could we I was about to say we could
We
have
didn't
done
know
nothing,
anything.
right? Because I was about to be like, we could have done nothing, and then I was like, oh wait,
Right.
we did do nothing.
Right.
But like we could have done nothing and they would have been fine. But like you guys do the wrong time of something, and they're like, no, you
Yeah, ready to
whore.
burn us at the stake.
Yeah.
We'll like give them like chocolate waffles and be like, you swear we're gonna have blueberry. I don't like literally some of the stuff that I would get yelled at for is so ridiculous.
It's really accurate, but I think it also has to do with the fact that COVID happened and that people were
Yeah,
just
no.
tired.
People just
And of
needed to yell at someone.
course, and of course, a lot of the time, the grade reps, let me see how I'm gonna word this. A lot of the time, the grade reps are the administration's punching bag because everyone asks the grade reps, assuming that they know, but they don't.
Right.
Assuming that they
Right.
know about stuff the administration should probably tell them because it's happening soon, but they don't. So
Yep.
when we didn't know if the Israel trip was going to happen, the administration was sitting there fine, but everyone was coming for you guys.
Oh my God. You know how many people yelled at me and said, why did you make it so we can't go to Israel? Okay, I'm gonna call this person out. Also, because he'll never ever watch this.
Call them
Right?
out.
David Gomberg, right? He comes to me and he's like, Romi, angrily, he's like, Romi, why aren't we going to Israel? Why can't we just go? I'm like, David, you know I have nothing to do with that. I'm like a student just like you. He's like, no, you're the one who everyone's saying you're the one who told them not to go. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? So, and he's like, yeah. And he's like pissed off. And I'm clearly like, if you are a logical person, okay, we take a trip with our grade to Israel, right? I'm a grade rep. I have nothing to do with this, right? I'm here to be an intermediary between the administration and the students and help plan like fun activities like in school, like, you know, like color war, not going to Israel on a plane and like hotel. Like, I don't deal with all of that. And the people were so upset at me that blaming me for that not going to Israel. And then people even were like, oh, it's just because you're going to go to Israel next year. So we don't even want to go. So you screwed. I'm like, I didn't have anything to do with this decision. Yeah, it was awful.
Oh my
It was
God.
not fun. It was so
Oh my
not
God.
fun.
They thought that Robbie was sitting there on Trivago, booking the fucking plane ticket, looking on
Like,
Airbnb.
I think they think I like get paid or something. Like my job is like, I don't even know.
You went through with it though. You never quit, so that's nice.
Damn straight. I worked hard.
I
I worked my ass off. Dude, every single idea was.
I would have. Let's be real. I probably wouldn't have quit, but
I would have sat there crisscross applesauce. And
I was about to say, I probably wouldn't have quit, but I definitely would have made a joke out of it. Like anytime someone asked something on the group chat, I would have just responded like "LOL."
Yeah, pretty much.
Like that's funny. You should tell the administration about that. That's so funny. Like, because like, what are you gonna do?
I think during Corona, like our job became way more than it was supposed to be. And like I think that's why people got like, because we were so involved in stuff, because like the only way the administration could do anything was through us, because they couldn't see us or talk to us. It had to be us texting everybody else and telling everybody else, because like I'm not like, otherwise no one checks their emails, no one did anything, so they couldn't get anything through. So we like were their only lifeline. So both ways were like, yeah, like everybody was freaking out because it was COVID. When do I have classes? Do I have homework? Do I have tests? Blah 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 blah. Questions every 5 seconds. This is my first day as grade rep. First day. And everyone's asking me questions, and I have no idea what's happening. I don't even we didn't even know what was going on.
He's literally not even lying. And the funny part is that we literally went through a whole COVID switch of our entire curriculum, our entire way of learning. We probably got through the whole time, maybe like 2 emails from the school the whole time.
Right.
So everybody was emailing the school. Everybody was yelling at Romi and Jamie. Everyone was just frustrated. Not to mention that there were a lot of things that happened around the times too that just were like, really, like, let's just throw that on there too. It just kept getting crazier and crazier, and it was like, it was a lot.
Yeah, it was.
If only we could go back to the time when Olivia and I were in power, and then
enforce that salad bar.
Who knows? I think that we should have done like a full-on like grade rep all-stars. Could you imagine?
Dude, that would have been so fun.
We missed that opportunity as a school event to have a grade rep all-stars competition.
Oh my God.
With you and Jamie, Olivia and I, Noah and Allison, and hosted by Ron and Talia.
Hosted by the runner-ups or whatever.
Yeah, of course, hosted by Ron and Talia. Which the joke I was talking about before, guys, listening to the podcast, was that this guy Iran, who I've known since I was literally a child, and Talia, who I've also known, they're like besties.
They're both like the nicest people ever.
They really are, but they ran every year and did not win a single time.
I remember they had like their chant like Tehran.
Yeah, and mostly probably because no one took them seriously, but.
It was hard because a lot of our friends, it's hard when all of your friends are running, because then your friend group is split up, because this is how it usually went. It usually went that each friend group had one person run from it. Like there's the theater kids had it, the dogs had one, like the girly girls had one, and like that was that. And like, but when like 2 friend groups like had like when one friend group had like a bunch of people, 2 pairs in it, like they would have to fight it out, and like basically the whole group would have to decide which one they were going to vote for. So either you like didn't get any of them or you got all of them.
It was very that. And
like, it was a big decision. Like each friend group decided who they were going to like vote for, sort of.
It was also very like, you kind of were trying to decide who was going to run and who thought they had a shot based on what they brought to the table. But like, based on what somebody else had it already brought. So it was like, oh, well, I need a girl who's like this because that'll bring this group and that'll
Right.
bring
Yeah.
type of
Like
people.
I ran with Samantha Miller and like that, like we weren't really such like we weren't really friends or like we're friendly, like she's a really nice girl. And she was like in a completely different friend group and that like got probably a lot of the votes of like from there. I mean, it wasn't good enough to beat Henry and Olivia, but that was like the idea of like mixing. So like
But
that's why it was so crazy when Jamie and I won because we're not only are we brothers, not only are we the same like gender, so that's we don't have any of the, like a lot of the girl stuff, but also like we like a lot of people thought like you know we were like our family's like Orthodox or something like that. And a lot of people were like very like nervous. Like there's a bunch of stuff like we just like I did not think we were gonna win, and then we just ended up winning out, which was awesome. And they got shut down, and so Henry when he announced like because everyone was excited for it, waiting for it, like literally everyone was so hyped for it.
I told
And
y'all
then
I was the people's favorite. I was the queen of the people.
and then he really was. And so when he told us it was canceled and all that, he was like, "But you haven't seen the last of me." And like no one knew what he was really talking about. Like yeah, like I guess we'll like see you. But then Henry was
Which not to be cliche, which not to be cliche, but first of all, had nothing to do with student government. It wasn't even on my radar at the time.
Oh no.
And second of all,
I thought it was planned the whole time.
Good. I'm glad you thought that, but it was not. But also, not to be cliche, that was not written down in my speech that I had written down. It was just like a last because basically my mom, I wrote the speech. I gave it to my mom. She's a writer. I was like, here, read this out. Like, you know, how are we feeling about it? She gave me some notes on it. Part of the notes she gave me was to make it nicer because I was still very spiteful at the time. But yep. So after I finished, I started finishing up the speech and I was thinking like, this is just so nice, especially because the head of our school gave a mini speech right before I gave mine that made it seem like he just wants to say a little few words or whatever. So I was like, oh, that made me so mad sitting there, like sitting in my seat. She basically got up and said, this person is such a great person and this person has the best family and they're so sweet. They're going to go give a speech to you right now. And I was sitting there like, bitch, I'm mad.
Also, like, I hope you know that was like
so patronizing.
Bullshit. But like, no, like that part of like that, she's just trying to like, it's like good PR. Like, she's just trying to like,
oh yeah, exactly.
It's really nice, and they get it like great. And also, like, regardless of for the reasoning, like just that, like that just seems fake, you know.
It was so patronizing. So that's
like, don't, yeah, moment, yeah.
Before I even started the speech, I knew I had to add something after that. So basically, I came to the end of my speech and I had like a pause moment. I think I even added in some little like. But like I don't really remember. But so I had a little pause moment, and then I was like, yeah, like, you know, you guys have been amazing, blah 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 blah. Also, you haven't seen the last of me. I think I just walked off. Was that it? Was that the last thing I said?
Yep.
I think I was like, oh, and one last thing. You haven't seen the last of me.
No, I think you were just like, oh. And by the way, you haven't seen the last of me. And then you like left. You like walked.
I walked off. And when I tell you, I have never heard applause like that in my entire life in that theater. Well, actually, there was one other time I did, and that was after the conclusion of The Little Mermaid, and I'll never forget it. When they did that play, it was so loud, and I sat back down, and Isabella hugged me so hard. And then walking out of it, it took me like forever. Like by the time I got to the lunchroom after that, there was no lunch left because I was stopped every fucking 5 seconds by teachers I didn't even have to be like, oh my God, what happened? Like, oh my God. And in addition to that, not to blow my own horn, but in addition to that, I was told a couple of weeks later that after that, a couple of students went to the administration and some teachers to see if they could get together a club that was like something regarding the LGBT community. That awesome. They went to the administration right after that like assembly. And I was like, well, you know what? Period.
Hey, if you could be president there, maybe you got a president in that club, you know.
That was so funny. Oh my God. I loved the drama. I just loved the drama. That was the real reason. I just loved the drama of that whole time during the elections and during it was so good.
Henry thrives off chaos.
I really do. And not to mention that the US election was happening at a similar time.
Was? What?
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'm pretty
I don't
sure
know.
that I remember thinking like, oh, our elections right now, like between Eliab Noah and I, but there's also the bigger picture going on as well.
Right.
Oh my god, it was just so much drama, and it was it was so good. And of course, my best friend Isabella also ran.
Oh, right. I remember that. Yeah, she didn't win.
She didn't win either.
She did not win. She got beat out by, who was it? Allison?
Allison, yeah.
Allison was also like, she had a lot of
Right,
student government
exactly.
years under her belt.
Yeah. And Isabella had none.
Right. Also, we were like, what? Isabella's here? And she's like, I want to run.
Yeah, she was like, I'm doing it.
I feel like Isabella was never like in any public sphere for PT ever before that. And like, because we've seen everybody else, like Eliab, we know from like the booth, and always thinking like you, we know from like always your ideas and your Project Henry and all that kind of stuff. And like Noah, we get like
Of being
like,
the people's favorite, yeah. Of being
right.
the Diana of Beth Tefillah. I said it. Of being the Princess Diana of Beth Tefillah, I was also tragically assassinated on the stage, but just different assassinations. But
just different, yeah. Little, it's metaphorical.
But there's parallels.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Let's be real. I feel like everyone thinks I'm the Diana of Beth Tefillah, but I'm actually the Azula of Beth Tefillah.
Good call. That's a good call. That's a great call, actually.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Actually, I love that. I love the Avatar reference.
Oh my god. It's me right before the election in the school bathroom with my hair all fucked up, like, you never loved me.
Yeah. Oh my god. That's great.
And then it's Dr. Shore looking back like, I always loved you, Azula. I always did. And me being like, no.
Yeah.
Breaks mirror. That was me. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It didn't work out, obviously. But...
Have you talked to the podcast about your brother? In general?
I don't think so.
So I want to explain this, right? So we've already talked about something? So we already talked. No, I'm just segueing us. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
So basically, I want to talk about my experience with being on a team with Stanley, Henry's brother. So I've been friends with Henry for a long time. So I know Henry, I was in gym with him. I know he plays sports, right? So super uncoordinated, can't really do much. He's more, but he's got a lot of talent, just, not on the sports field. Okay, let me introduce you to Stanley Dansker, right? Stanley's this tall dude, huge, muscly, like big guy, right?
Really huge.
Boy, just like a beast, right? Your kid's been playing soccer, like a club, and like intensely since like how old? Like
young.
Really young.
I don't know.
Yeah. Like I remember like being childhood friends and like you having to go to Stanley soccer.
My god.
Anyway, so I get there, and this is the first time I've really like seen Stanley since like he was like a little kid. And I'm like, I get there, I'm like, what? He's basically like, and Stanley's a beast. Like he's faster than everybody. He is like can run longer than everybody. He's crazy with soccer ball. Like he's just insane. Like he's the best. He made varsity in 9th grade. I think I remember. Yeah, he did. He made varsity in 9th grade, which is just like the only kid who's ever done that. Like that I remember is like Ophir, who was also like the kid in our grade. He was just like crazy.
There's usually like one.
Yeah, like it's just the fact that it was Henry's brother was like the best thing ever.
It's the gag.
It was like I was like because they like you and Stanley do look a lot like very very similar. Like I do think you guys have a lot of similarities, and even sometimes like
I don't know, maybe
like talk sometimes like it's very different, but like in like there are a lot of similarities. And so I kept seeing like you, but then I would see him like beating me in a sprint. I'm like, what is happening? It was like a mind fuck. And like also if you like Henry's your sister also, she's like crazy at volleyball too, right?
Oh yeah, my sister is also a crazy athletic volleyball player.
Both of your siblings are crazy athletes. Like it's just and like
insane. And then there's me.
Like I
not
feel
the
like
athletic one of the bunch.
It's just like, but like they're both like top tier athletes. It's not like they're just like regular. Like they're both like it's like ironic.
No. It is. It's so funny.
I love it. It's great. But like you don't want that either.
Exactly.
I talk to him like Henry. I'm like Henry. Like why don't you go to the gym? Whatever. He's like, dude, the fuck. I don't want to go to the gym. Like I
have no desire to do that.
Like what do I need muscles for?
Exactly. But that's another thing is that I think I mentioned this on the podcast with I don't remember who honestly, but that I feel like I had a good glow up, but not because I changed so much. It was just my outlook that changed. Because basically, when I was in middle school, like, sure, my hair looked fucked up, and sure, I had braces. So obviously, those things changed, and that boosted my confidence a lot. But even bigger than that, I feel like, and the main thing was that when I was in middle school, I was friends with a lot more guys than I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a fact.
Yeah,
Whether
absolutely.
whether what the reason for that is up for debate. Not really, but like, whatever. So I was friends with a lot more guys, and it
Did you
felt
want to stay
like
friends with them? Did you want to stay friends? Like, did you want to stay friends with a lot of the guys? I feel like you didn't. Like, I feel like you just
it felt like a natural change, but it also was kind of weird
like
because
I don't. Did you show like? Did you? Was it like you getting shut down, or was it you just you both of you guys? No one expressed interest. Like, I feel like I don't think people like. I don't know.
it was. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it was a bit of both, probably, realistically. It just happened really fast. And I, in middle school, being friends with a lot more guys, um, felt like, oh, I should probably be thicker. I should be like, get more muscles. I should, etc.
Right.
And then getting into, I shouldn't be tall and lanky and, a garbage person. Um, Especially because, well, that's another thing. But then getting into high school, I was like, oh, wait a minute. The actual person that I want to be, that I like, and the community that I'm a part of, the way I look is actually kind of the, I mean, not the right way. Oh my God, that was so bad. But like, it's not frowned upon. Whereas if I continued in that same group of people I was in middle school, I feel like I would have been more unhappy because none of that group wants to look like just tall and like super thin. I don't know if I mean
Like look
it's
at.
probably
I mean, look at. I mean, Ethan, look at the prime example. I think is like Ethan Glick.
I was gonna say that.
Like he's almost as tall as you and like just as like lanky and stuff. And like he's
But like
friends in the guy friend group. But he does get made fun of it for a lot. But
I was
like
about to
it's.
say
But I feel
I
like
get in
taking
my
that.
friend group I get praised for it. So it's just different. It's definitely just different scenarios, but also is it like I'm just curious honestly, is he self-conscious about it or is that like he
I
just loves
think
that?
that no, I think none of us like very a lot of like we're very like bantery like with each other
Of
like all the
course.
guys like you're always like fucking with each other, and like everybody knows it's a joke, but I'm sure at some point like he's not like he is like he doesn't like I know for a fact he doesn't like being lanky and like tall, like he wants to be like, but like no one actually like I don't think he takes it so personally. Everyone's like, oh, you like I don't think he does. I don't think he does. I'm not so close with him, but knowing him like he's very like jokestery kid, but you never know. But like, I mean, I've heard him talk about like, oh, I want to go to the gym and get like or whatever. But you
Oh,
gotta own
really?
it. Yeah, you gotta own it though. Like he very much is like makes jokes about it for himself. Like you gotta just be like, gotta own it.
I think that's another reason that even at work or in the small times that I do hang out with the guys or whatever, we
Mm-hmm.
get along because, like you said, that banteriness, I do it really well. So I
Right.
feel like it does work. It's just not, it's not really where I want to be, but I can make it work. Even at work, sometimes like at Panera, talking with the guys still works because I'm really good at the kind of stupid bantery like humor that a lot
Right.
of the guys like love. So
Right. Yeah.
it
I
works,
think
but
like I also I mean as much as like I think that a lot of people think that you're very like different and like so like at least from the guy's perspective like I can imagine that a lot of the guys are like I don't know if I have anything to talk to Henry about, like what am I going to even say, like just because like I don't feel like I have no common interest, and like I've never once ever had an issue like having something to say or talk about with you, because I think that like you do like as much as you say like it's different, like you like watch and like do and like how like and
that's
say
what
like a
I'm
lot of
trying to
us.
fucking say. And that's what I've said on like every fucking podcast so far is that I'm just internally just a nerd. And even though my external is sometimes intimidating, or even as Harper would say, people kind of have been known to maybe be intimidated, but like
Absolutely. I think that's really true, and I think that stopped a lot of people from
Do
like really.
you? Because
Yeah.
Harper, the other day I was talking with Harper, like we were hanging out, and she said something. She was like, "Yeah, it's crazy how you like went from that, and now people are like scared of you." And I was like, "Excuse me?
I don't know if people are. I
That
wouldn't
is
say
not
scared, but
true."
intimidated. Yeah, I think that people definitely intimidated for sure. Like I think that it's like nerve wracking if you don't know like what you're gonna say, what you're gonna do. But like I knew coming onto this podcast, we literally didn't discuss beforehand what we were gonna talk about at all. Like we just are going with the flow and having a great conversation, and like wasn't sweating about it at all. I knew we were. I knew.
I did think about, I'm not gonna lie, I did think about in the intro being like, all right, welcome to Henry's Freakin podcast. And this podcast today, I'm gonna be talking with a former lover of mine, my ex, Romi.
Oh my god, you showed up. That would have been the. I don't know what I would have said. I
I
would have
know, it would
just
have been
like.
so funny, but like I was like,
Oh my
no, I'm not
god.
gonna do it. Like, whatever, I'll just
Uh,
like leave it. But it would have been hilarious. Oh my god.
Rabbi Moss.
Hello,
Yeah, we had this guy.
Mama.
We had this teacher. Like one of the best people I've like ever met. Right? He's just such a like an awesome guy.
I was
Like
about to,
such.
I literally just, wow, that just hit when you just said that just now. I was like,
So he's like
yeah, I
he
mean,
was like he was the teacher that he was the confidant for everyone. He's like a therapist on his off time. Like he's just like he's the guy to go to. Right? He's just everybody. No one doesn't like him. Right?
he's so
So
basically in our school each year you get assigned a grade counselor.
yeah,
But if we're being honest, Rabbi Moss is always
yeah, for sure.
he's just the eternal grade advisor.
Yeah, and he's just like the most like accepting, like understanding guy. And it's just
He
like
really is, and he's because a lot of the time with our like Judaic studies teachers, whatever, there is I find a separation. But for Rabbi Moss specifically, he's one of those people that you really can have real world conversations with, and they are actually like meaningful and like make you feel like, oh, like he understands what I'm saying, you know,
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
which is not like, the most common thing. Oh my God. Every time I think of Rabbi Moss, the first thing I think of, you know what? Just no, I'm not even gonna, because the podcast isn't ready.
You'll build up to it eventually.
You don't even know what I'm talking about.
I'm sure. I'm sure it's along the lines of being edgy.
First of all, also, let me just say that I don't know if you like wanted me to not say this or whatever, but when I went, Rabbi Moss was also the person who was heavily in charge of a lot of things. So he was one of the first people I told, because we had like a pretty close relationship, I think.
Yeah.
I told him when I wanted to run for president, for student government president.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll never forget, this is probably the second thing I think of when I think of him, is that I walked into his office and I like sat down and I was like, so Rabbi. And he always thinks there's something suspicious with me. Like he always thinks I'm about to say the most out of pocket shit. So he was like, Henry. And I was like, Rabbi, I think that I'm gonna run for student government president. And he goes, his initial reaction, I kid you fucking not, was, no, oh my God, no. And I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, no, you can't. Noah wants this so bad. And if you run, you're going to beat him. And I was like, oh. I was gagged. I was like, what? He was like, Henry, you can't run against him. You're literally loved, like, you're going to win. And he's going to be so devastated about it.
That was I didn't even know what you were. I was like, what? Rabbi Moss is still not supportive? And that was great. Yeah, that's a great
No,
story.
he literally said that, and I was so, like, he probably remembers it. I was so shocked. Of course, it ended up going well, and we both kind of, like, were looking at each other by the end of it, being like, but the thing I was initially referring to was that one of our Shabbatones.
What? What? Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm like remember it, like, but I don't remember what I said specifically. Or so,
I don't think we're gonna go into it for all of the listeners. Were you not there?
No, I was there. I was there.
I was about to say, I think you were
there. I was there. Oh my God. I remember. I feel bad the podcast doesn't know what we're talking about, but like I don't want to like put anybody in there.
I feel like they need to know though, because it's so like such a good
All right,
story.
don't say specifics. Don't say who.
This bitch, yeah. No, I'll just basically we have these things every year called Shabbatones. We go to a campsite, the same one every time, and we stay there for the Jewish Sabbath,
In
which
like
is
cabins and stuff. It's not like
in
tents,
like
it's like cabins.
right, in like cabins and shit. So it's like Friday night, Saturday, come back Saturday night, basically. Right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Friday night, come
And
back
it's your
Saturday.
whole
Yeah.
grade. Your whole grade goes.
Yeah, your whole grade goes, sometimes multiple grades. It's just like a fun time. It's supposed to be like very much unplugged, like because you're
Yeah.
not allowed to
No
use
phones and
electronic
stuff.
devices, etc. And it's always like a fun time. I always just love it because there's always drama, but um, which there always is drama
Right.
at the Shabbatones because it's a bunch of teenagers in cabins.
Right. Running
My
around
only
involved in that.
regret was that we never had a full on Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like um cabin in the woods horror movie fantasy with that. That would have been
Right.
so fun. Oh, if like Coach Krieger was running around with a machete. Holy shit. Anyway, it was one of our Shabbatones. We're all unplugged or whatever. And it's one of the like later ones, like end of high school. Keep in mind, we literally did them through middle school and high school.
Right.
And we're at the Shabbaton, and we split up into groups, and the groups we split up into were the girls on my grade and the boys in my grade. So of course that immediately was very triggering because I was like, oh god, don't split me up with the boys again. God damn it, I hate all of them. Which is not true, but feels like that sometimes. So we get split up and we go into a room. We're all sitting around this table with Jesus, with my Rabbi Moss, my favorite, my babe. And he's sitting there and he's starting the conversation. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh God, what is this about to be about?
Yep.
And none of us, well, I don't know, maybe you did. For me personally, I was fully shocked because I had no clue what that was about what he was about to come, like what was about to come out of his mouth.
Right.
But it was not what anyone was expecting. Well, I wasn't. Were you expecting it? Did you know? Did they tell you?
Yeah.
Did they give you a heads up?
Yeah, I know.
Not them giving you a heads up.
So wait, go ahead. What did we talk about?
So basically, he opens up the sentence being like, so we're going to talk about sex. And I was like, okay, cool.
I remember he was really, they always do that with whatever
I
age,
assume
however.
it felt like something that they probably have been doing for a while. That's what it felt like.
He asked me, he was like, do you think they're like mature enough to do it? I'm like, no, but they're never gonna be, so just get it over with.
Work. Wait, you were a grade rep. So was this our last Shabbaton?
I wasn't the grade rep of this. Wait, what? No. At this one, it was 11th grade one, so it was Noah and Allison.
So it was the last one, though.
Yes. No, we had one. Didn't we have one this year? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I forgot. I didn't go to it.
Loser.
Sorry, I didn't go to it. It was our last real one. Anyway.
Right.
So basically, it sounded like something that happens every year. I was like, okay, God, here we go. This is a conversation that's going to give me virtually no help, and I'm just going to sit through it and be quiet. And then when it's over, I will go back and report it to the girls as I always do. So that's what I was thinking in my head, right? Right. So they're talking and they're talking and they're talking. And I'm sitting there next to Aviad, who is Aviad. So he's just being an asshole. And I'm just sitting next to him and like, whatever. We're just like talking side conversations while it's happening. And then it keeps on going and going, like longer and longer. And I was like, oh, okay, let's make this interesting. Let's stir the pot. So I took the ladle out and I looked over at Aviad and I said, and I quote, "This is about to get really interesting," and raised my hand. And he was like, uh-oh, what is that supposed to mean? And I was like, just wait. Just wait. So then, okay, I had been making side eyes with Rabbi Moss the whole time. I don't know if it was obvious to anyone else, but I had been making side eyes with him the whole time because I was basically sitting there like the whole time.
Yep.
So we were making side eyes, like he was waiting for me to like interject, because I'm one of those people who, as the podcast listeners can imagine, butts into conversation, raises their hand, talks over people, etc., because I like to talk. But I was saying nothing, which was out of character. So eventually I raised my hand, and as soon as I raised my hand, he calls on me because he was waiting for that moment.
Right.
Which I'm sure, first of all,
you gotta respect him for that. No, you gotta respect him for calling on you. He could have been like, no, I don't want to take a question. He could have gone.
No, he had to. He was gonna. Let's be real. He was gonna call on me. But I'm sure that this is a question that has come up before, is what I was gonna say. This can't not have been a question that's come up before. So I feel like he knew, and like in his mind, I like to think that in his mind he was preparing for it the whole time, because all the other questions were basically easy to answer. So he calls on me, and podcast, I say a variety. I say a take on, I don't know the exact words I said, so I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna paraphrase because I don't really remember. I said something along the lines of, me equals gay. Does you equal care? Question mark. Basically, me equals faggot. Do you care? And so I was like, waiting for the response, and of course everybody in the room was like very shook and silent, which is kind of what I wanted. But
Henry, Henry, that's exactly what you wanted. You lived for it.
Exactly. But I was also like laughing my way through it to try to make it less awkward.
Right. No, of course.
So, there was that. And he like took a deep breath. He's like, okay. And then in his very Rabbi Moss way responded. And we ended up having a very interesting conversation afterward as well.
Good.
But yeah, it was very interesting. There was chiming in from other people I didn't expect.
Oh, yeah? Right. Oh, right. Yeah.
So it was just a very interesting conversation. I didn't feel like necessarily bad after it. I did disagree, but I didn't necessarily feel like as like terrible. I kind of expected the answer he gave. So I was very much like, okay, whatever. And then afterward, what really got to me was that he came up to me afterward and we had a whole talk about me, but also other people and how they feel and how the school is doing and how he could be better. And that was really what was like,
yeah.
Okay. That's what I was like kind of hoping for.
Yeah.
But the answer during the conversation was a little like,
right.
Not unexpected, just, So basically, that was me, podcast listeners, stirring the pot, making everyone uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been a great podcast. Woo! Yay! Definitely not going to need a part 2. I'm going to fit everything in this one, so all the listeners at home are going to have a great podcast to listen to. And yeah, Eddie. Plug yourself. Give yourself a shout out. Tell them where they can find you. Besides for obviously Israel.
My name's Romi Diamond. I'm going to Israel next year, but after that I'll be at UMD, and I'll see y'all there.
Are you sure it's not Rami?
Yeah, positive. All the teachers love to
They love to say that. Yeah. We love a Romi. Yeah.
I got called Remy. Coach Al.
Remy. Oh my God. Coach Al work. Coach Al was a queen. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next one. Woo!